Oh, 2015. By and large, as far as controversies go, kind of low-key. That being said, there were still plenty of people that could piss you off. Yeah, a lot of them were in the rock and metal horizon, sadly. There's a separate video for that. It's the first link that you're going to see in the description box, the top 10 rock metal douchebags of 2015. So if you're looking for names such as Ivan Moody, either that or Paul Stanley, then that's the place to actually go. And that list is pretty deep. It's pretty sad. But there are still a fair amount of controversies in the pop market. And this doesn't even include the ones that are kind of low-key, you know, like Jay-Z's Tidal service not doing all that well, or Rihanna teasing an album for 12 months that she still hasn't fucking delivered. But without further ado, let's jump right into the list of the 10 biggest musical idiots of 2015, the Pop Edition. So, at number 10, we have Meghan Trainor. Meghan Trainor is an individual that was the number 1 musical idiot of 2014. She's so low on this list for one reason and one reason alone. Despite of the release of her, solo debut album Tidal in January, and the release of a couple of singles, this is an individual who really doesn't talk all that much. She doesn't get the microphone shoved into her face, nor does she really add some, screwed up sound clips. It's almost like she kind of learned a little bit from 2014. She realized that she made a song talking about how it's okay to be big, lost weight, really got into a little bit of a controversial mess over that, but was able to come out of it smelling like roses considering the music continues to sell and people continue to consume it. Dear Future Husband is reason alone to be on this list, however, considering this showcases this whole idea of you have to pander toward this woman in order to really satisfy her needs and satisfy her mold for what the perfect individual would be. This would be so wonderful. This would be so ideal. Once again, this is another one of these tracks Meghan Trainor has shat out that is trying to pimp this ideological expertise, or her ideological expertise of what a perfect relationship should be. And really this is something that's just showcasing just how ridiculous some of these notions are. It actually gives some of the concepts of chivalry a bit of a bad name, considering Meghan Trainor is essentially stating that the only reason why you should do this is to try to get the reward of a kiss, or the attempt, or thought process, the maybe, of rocking her body at night. Meghan, do us all a favor. Transition some of your next work into something that has a little bit more actual viability in this world, but I guess if you want a career here in 2015, you're going to have to stick with your little formula. And if you do that, you're going to just end up right back here, probably even higher. Stay away from microphones. Continue to do that. That served you well if you're here in 2015. Number 9, we have Ariana Grande. Now, you might think that this would pain me to say, considering any longtime subscriber knows that I kind of like Ariana Grande, but Donutgate is something that is almost unforgivable. It's something that dominated the first part of the summertime, and it needs to be spoken about. But there's 2 aspects about this, and we're going to address both of them. The whole donut licking incident is kind of gross. I mean, let's just be honest here. That was a really, really bad idea. And the second thing about it was that the apology for it seemed really, really forced and didn't feel like it was very genuine, which kind of, wow. I was really disappointed whenever I saw that. It just felt really detached from all of society, detached from the rest of us. Almost like it was stating something of the likes of, I'm a star, so I'm better than you, but I'm forced to apologize because a lot of people can't take what I do without getting pissed off. Well, Ari, I have to say that the donut thing, that pissed me off. I like donuts, and everyone thinks I'm fat, so yeah, I like donuts, not a cop. But at the same time, licking a donut and then just putting it back. Ew. Spread some disease, honey. Make me cute. Anyway, the big thing that I have to say, the second part, is the whole I hate America thing that people lost their fucking minds about. This whole nationalism idea whenever, at the same time on social media, they're doing the exact same thing. Talking about how much they hate America because Obama's running it. Either that or because Trump might become the president, because of Hillary, because of Bernie Sanders, because of fucking Ted Nugent, because of the this or that, because of gun control, because of whatever. There's been so many damn controversial topics that have freaking made people lose their fucking minds in 2015. We did a whole video about that, the top 10 things that people were most annoyed about and triggered by, that it's just absurd. But this is something where, Ari, being in the public eye, you do have to worry a little bit about what people think about you, and what you say, you do have to be a little bit careful, but come the fuck on. The people that are on social media, I'm looking at all of you that said that this was the worst thing that anyone has ever said are lying through their teeth, considering you've no doubt said something 10 times worse and along the exact same lines. I'm calling it exactly the way that I see it, considering I see plenty on not only social media, but I see plenty whenever I read interviews within the press, whether it be somebody who's a big star or somebody who's just being touted and lauded as an expert in their field. Not to mention whenever you have people like Ben Carson running for president who thinks the pyramids were being used for fucking grain. Well, let's just say there are more large problems that you need to worry about than Ariana Grande saying that she hates America. Number 8, we have TLC. Yeah, there's a name from the past, a real blast. What the fuck is wrong with TLC? How did they make the news in 2015? By doing a crowdfund, and they still haven't produced the album that was successfully funded. Now, you might say that this isn't all of that big of a deal, all things considered. It's something that takes time, it takes effort, but it seems as though this has been quite a long time. It's been more than 12 months ever since the funding was achieved, and there has still been no progress made on this whatsoever. Nothing has happened. This is instead something that's remaining extremely static, which makes it seem as though TLC basically raised this money just so they could get their rocks off for another couple of months or a year or so, live the life of has-been freaking pop stars, and there you go. That's it. This is something that's becoming a huge problem. We're talking about crowdfunds, and we're talking about the GoFundMes of the world, where these lavish projects are being, they're being asked, people are asking for money for lavish projects, whether it be artists or game developers or whatever, and then nothing just gets done. It just takes such a long process, and it seems like these funds are being mismanaged. Either that, or it feels like they're being used for things that are outside of the realm or the horizon of what the project was scoped to be. And TLC really seems to have fallen victim to this, and they really haven't also delivered that much in the way of updates that have been significantly, all that great. So we'll see what happens in 2016, but I can guarantee you're going to have a shitload of pissed off people if you don't produce something soon, TLC. I know there are only two-thirds of you, maybe just TL or just LC or TC, whatever it might be. Either way, you got to produce, considering the goal got hit. Get to work, you stupid spoiled bitches. Number 7, we have Monica. If you don't recognize the name, I'll help you out. Monica had a big hit with Tyga. Yeah, Tyga. Fun. Part 2 of this is Tyga, called I Think I Might Go Lesbian. Now think about what we've gone through here in 2015 with the same-sex marriage thing, with the debate about it and then it becoming legalized, and the Kim Davis thing, and everything else that's happened in between. Think about what this means. Think about what this song is kind of trying to really showcase and illuminate. Basically what Monica is trying to say is that because boys and men have pissed her off so much, so many times, oh my gosh, they're so unreliable, I hate them so much, all they do is break my heart, so you know what? I know what'll teach them a lesson. I might just go lesbian. I might just start diddling with a bunch of other chicks and, well, no doubt turn them on even more. But whatever it may be, it's essentially highlighting this argument that it's a light switch. Oh, now I'm straight. Uh-oh. Now I'm a lesbian. Now you saw how that light kind of flickered a little bit, and that's kind of where she's at right here. She's in that flicker point where she's trying to make a decision. Do I want to stay straight and give them another go, or do I want to commit to lesbianism and being gay for a 6-month period or however long this phase ends, or until I need another cock inside of me? That's what makes it stupid. But what makes it even worse is whenever Tyga appears on the track and just decides to confuse the world even more by acting like he is trying to hit on this woman and get with this woman and try to turn her away from this decision. Now, that would be all well and good. Monica seems like she's going for it, but it just further illuminates how much of a joke this really is to some people, how much of a light switch moment that they treat it as. And this is something that over the past 15 years we've seen a good bit. And now that there's 1,000 different gender identity roles, it only makes it even worse, considering now people feel that at the drop of the hat they can change something about themselves to better reflect what they are on the inside. All well and good, but at the same time, whenever you see stuff like this, it actually serves as more of an insult to those who actually are struggling with, the idea of their identity and are struggling with the idea of whether or not they are whatever it may be, and it just makes a mockery of that. Plus, the song sucks too, so that doesn't exactly help. So let's move to number 6. Number 6 is another two-parter. Madonna and Iggy Azalea. Two people that you'd think would be so far apart, but are actually really close together. Why? Because Madonna is close to 60 and is writing songs like Bitchlet. I'm Madonna, where she's acting like she is a 20-something person who revolutionized the idea of girl power in the 1980s. And it's gross, it's scary, it actually is not sexy whatsoever. I know people, and I myself am included in this, that have parents that are above the age of 60, and if I heard them singing this stuff and wiggling their asses and doing whatever, I would be appalled. If Barbra Streisand came on stage and decided to sing Bitch, I'm Barbara, I would fucking turn the channel so goddamn fast you could see the dust off of my finger from switching off the channel to something, you know, a lot better, which at that point would be like HGTV or the fucking CMT, the country music television station. And then there's Iggy Azalea on the other side, who is 20-something, looks like some freaking bimbo that just, you know, crawled out of a fucking sewer and is making terrible music, just making awful music, and can't keep her goddamn mouth shut. Is it beefs every 15 seconds with people that don't even historically have beefs anymore because they're freaking reformed, you know, like Snoop Lion, you know, talks to Taylor Swift and Ariana, talking with all these fucking people. Please. The real problem actually here, the real idiot should actually be any person who has consumed an Iggy Azalea record. Any person that's still pandering to Madonna and has consumed an Iggy Azalea record, whether it's been one that she's, you know, featured on or one that she actually has delivered herself. Those are the two idiots here. And really, the rest of us are just sort of doing one of those. Meanwhile, Madonna and Iggy are laughing all the way to the fucking bank. Thanks a lot, assholes. Let's move on to number 5 with Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is somebody that needs to just go to acting and stay there, please. She was on a Ray Strummer disc on a single earlier this year, which just further proved how terrible Ray Strummer is and further showcased how terrible Nicki is. Nicki just doesn't seem interested in music anymore, and then we have what happened at the Video Music Awards. All of a sudden, she's interested again because she doesn't think there's enough African-American representation in some of the categories. That's something that you really need to take up more with MTV, considering that's who's hosting the awards and doing all that, and MTV's fucked as it is. Fuck MTV, man. Save your freaking grief for the Grammys. That's all I'm going to say, Nicki. If you really want to get somewhere, save your grief for the Grammys, save your grief for the voters there, and what that is. The MTV Video Music Awards right now are just a fucking joke. Think about what happened a couple years ago with Miley Cyrus, who we're going to get to, and Robin Thicke, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Her little feud with Miley was a joke. Her feud with Taylor Swift is a joke. Taylor Swift, by the way, not on this list. Neither is Katy Perry. It's a what? Nicki, just move away from music, step to acting, and just stick with it, and you'll be A-okay. Oh wait, your boyfriend's at number 4. Meek Mill. Of course, the Meek Mill and the Drake thing, where Meek Mill had a beef with Drake because he accused him of using ghostwriters. Now, I'm going to just call it as it is right now because we all know the story that Drake has essentially destroyed Meek Mill's in this beef. But I'm going to tell you, instead of recapping all of this, of what Meek Mill exactly is. Meek Mill is a rapper of the moment. He's a hot rapper of the moment. See, a performer like Drake, even though you don't want to admit it, and it hurts me to admit it, is one that's going to have a longer career than a Meek Mill because his music seems to reach more people and touch more people and it speaks to them, or whatever the whole fuck garbage people say that music does to them whenever it's really just their way of saying it's easy for me to listen to because they use small words. Meek is just one of the moments. He's going to have one hit record, and then he's going to say something stupid like this because he had a #1 album, and that's going to be the end of his career. Meek Mill was doing this to really attempt to illuminate the ghostwriting idea whenever Meek Mill himself no doubt has ghostwriters, and if he doesn't, then he probably should hire some because his stuff is garbage. This is something that feels so manufactured, it is absurd. A lot of beefs feel absurd and manufactured in 2015 in these days and ages because at this point in time, it's all about the buzz, the trend, you know, keeping your little mouth running. That way your name continues to be out there and circulating. There's another person that's really good at this. We're going to talk about him later. So, Meek Mill, I'm going to do you a favor and stop talking about you because as far as I'm concerned and as far as many other people are concerned, you're fucking irrelevant, bud. Bye. Number 3, Miley Cyrus. So I told you we were going to talk about her. And this is primarily because of the beef that happened at the VMAs. It's the fact that she's descending even further into just what the fuckville. We don't know what the hell's going on with Miley Cyrus anymore. Her tits are just everywhere. Literally. Miley Cyrus tits are everywhere. And they're not tits that you want to see. I've seen Miley Cyrus tits. I wish I could unsee them. I really could because it's not all that good. And she does this free album, which I commend her for the free thing. I commend her for that. Does it with the flaming lips. should be awesome. Wasn't awesome. Wasn't awesome. I understand the idea of freeform. I understand the idea of just going in there and kind of doing what you want and really having that free experience to it. But man, this was one that just was a hot fucking mess. It was just, wow, a long, hot, bubbly mess of bullshit. It sucked. It was really terrible. The people that actually claim to like this, I think you're liking it because of who it is, as opposed to what it is. That's just me being real. The Flaming Lips, you should be nowhere close to this, but then again, you've worked with Kesha, so you're so far gone right now that I don't know what's going on. We can throw Kesha on here because of the whole thing that's happening with her and her record label and blah, 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 but I actually kind of feel for Kesha, but that's just me. Moving on to number two. Number two, One Direction. Fans. One Direction fans. Zayn left the band back in March. This was a huge controversy. People were pissed off about it, and the idiots were the fan base. The idiots were the fan base, not the band. The band actually did everything right in this situation. It's absolutely absurd. One Direction did everything right. They continued on. They decided they were going to make one more album, then they were going to go on hiatus, focus on solo shit, blah, 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 whatever it might be. Zayn left. He's doing whatever. He's talking to magazines, talking about how he wanted out of One Direction, committing career suicide himself. But One Direction fans took this way too far. They called off of work. They didn't go to school. They were starting to cry. They were threatening to cut themselves. Cut for Bieber? No, fuck that. Cut for Zayn. Cut for every single boy band. It doesn't matter who it is. 5 Seconds of Summer is going to break up soon. Let's cut for them. What about the other fucking toy bands that are out there? I said toy bands. I know. I meant boy bands, girl bands, whatever they might be. They're toy bands because it's just like a hot toy, man. It is just like a hot toy. Alright? They have their season in the sun, which for most toys happens to be the Christmas season, and then that's it. For boy bands and girl bands of this variety, it's like 3 years. And somebody said, you called One Direction breaking up. Well, no fucking dick I did. I know the fucking cycle. I have witnessed the cycle. The fact that Bieber has been able to rise back up and is having a career resurrection is kind of incredible and a little bit impressive, the fact that he's able to come back from all that he was a part of. But the fans were absolutely absurd. Grow the fuck up. I understand that this is something that whenever you're young is a heartbreaking event. But think about it this way. And you're young, so you need to think about this. A couple years prior to this, you liked something else. Whether it be Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or even ice cream. It's something where this is now, One Direction just superseded what you previously liked more than anything else. And it just means that something else will eventually replace One Direction. And that'll be that. Now, in 10 to 15 years, whenever they do reunion tours, are you going to want to go out and support them and check it out? Yeah, you probably will. It'll be a nice bout of nostalgia, and it'll be fun for you. But at this point in time, to get that bent out of shape over a breakup of a band like One Direction that has had their season in the sun, especially whenever the cycle has showed the spoke on the wheel as many times as it has over the past 3 to 5 years, calm the fuck down. You don't need to cut yourself because Zayn left One Direction. You don't have to miss school. You don't have to miss work. You're not going to get violently ill and have to go to the hospital and receive an IV bag. All you need to do is cry for a little bit, listen to the music, continue to enjoy the music, and just get over yourselves. Number one, though, is obvious. It's Kanye West. Kanye West running for president in 2020, considering some of the candidates in 2016, seems almost like a fucking amazing idea. I'm not going to lie. Kanye might be brilliant by comparison to Donald Trump, by comparison to Hillary Clinton, by comparison to just about anybody that's right now out there. Jeb Bush is out there. Will Ferrell famously said that just putting an exclamation point by your name doesn't make Jeb sound better, and it doesn't make broccoli sound better. Kanye West having another child makes this planet worse. Kanye West decided to diss Beck because of what happened at the Grammys, because, once again, Beyonce didn't win. Kanye West needs to get a psych eval, because he's a little obsessed with Beyonce. In fact, Kanye West might need to get checked for potentially being a criminal, for menacing, for stalking. Because he seems to really have this thing for Beyonce. But yet I don't see him promoting his own wife the same way. And that really goes without saying, because Kim doesn't really need him to do that. Kim could be exiled to another universe and people here on Earth would still know what the fuck she was doing. Kim on Uranus, still making waves. What has Kim done? Oh, Kim decided to have a nice Uranian meal. Fun. He decides that he's going to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. Everybody shits a brick over that. He's going to run for president. He's going to do that. He's having another baby. Kanye West, there's this album that's still not out. Kanye has had quite the year, but once again, Kanye, it seems and feels very much like says, flap Kanye mouth, that way Kanye name stay in Kanye press, because if you put Kanye in front of everything, then nobody will ever forget Kanye. No one will ever forget the name Kanye. I could be staring right here at this Kanye camera and talking about this Kanye video, these Kanye people, considering this Kanye year was so Kanye fucked up, then somewhere along the lines, if you made it this far, you're going to remember that little blip, and whenever you go to sleep tonight, or whenever you're about to go to sleep, you're going to be talking to yourself through your next day. You're going to say, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have breakfast, then I'm going to get in my car and I have some errands to do. I'm going to go to the Kanye post office, then the Kanye grocery store, and then I might have to go see my fucking Kanye mother-in-law because that Kanye cunt just decided that she has to fucking always stick her Kanye face all up in her Kanye fucking business. Kanye, why the fuck Kanye? That's what it's like. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 10 musical idiots. In fact, it's more like 12. Here in 2015, hoi oi oi. Listmania will continue tomorrow with yet another one. It'll be fun, I'm sure. I think tomorrow we're going to do the top 10 worst songs of 2015. Ooh! I'm CoverKillerNation. I'll talk to you later.